Welcome to Learning Bites. We're looking at simplifying without weakening, stripping back the complexity while maintaining your core strength.
And thinking along these lines, what is the difference between simplification and oversimplification in real businesses?
That's a great question. I think Albert Einstein was the person who said that you should make things as simple as possible, but no simpler. And I think in business, one of the things where I learned this was in what was called time and motion study when I was studying, or lean manufacturing, many of you will know this as, where it talks about removing waste. And so inside of any business, if we can remove waste, then we can get down to what's actually adding value at every step of the process that you might have internally as a business. And waste could be anything like a process, a distance traveled, additional steps, anything in that space that can be stripped away because it's not adding value to the customer.
I see. And where do leaders maybe sometimes add layers instead of sharpening the fundamentals?
I think one of the key areas that I see this happening the most often is that when leaders are under pressure and something goes wrong, they'll put in a process or a system to try and address that issue. And so what can happen over time is you get something that goes wrong and someone goes, well, if we put in this policy, then people will know not to do that. And then something else happens, you go, well, we'll put in this policy, and then we'll put in this policy. And after a while, that's what creates bureaucracy, is there's so much paperwork to get a simple decision. For all the best intent, you're trying to make sure that people don't make mistakes. We're trying to learn from our past, but actually all you do is land up clogging up the system, so you lose the fluidity and the speed of being able to make great decisions quickly.
Thank you. We all have experience where systems and processes have been added in to manage particular parts of our business. How can we as businesses ensure that we retain our strength and don't overcomplicate things?
I think one of the key things to do is that before you go put a policy in place to stop something happening again, or you're trying to ring fence it or protect it, is to ask yourself, is this a one-off incident? And is it best addressed by putting a policy or a rule in place? Or do we actually just need to train our team? Do we need to learn from this and educate the team around what's happening? Because I think if you're able to educate your team so that they learn the lesson rather than having to have a policy, what lands up happening is you land up creating a culture where people can move quickly. And so we want an organization that is streamlined around efficiency, not protection. And that's where the whole element of psychological safety comes in, and being able to trust each other that you're trying to achieve an outcome that's beneficial for the business and for their clients. I trust this is useful. Here's to your success.